Hi there, I'm Rex King, and welcome back to From the Archive. And today we're talking about Genocidal Organ. So, Genocidal Organ is based off a novel written by Project Ito and is directed and written for the screen by Shuko Murase. And I apologize if I mispronounced that name. Initially, the film was due for a November 13th, 2015 release, but its production company went bankrupt midway through production. So, it's luckily the film got released at all. In fact, it was picked right back up and released on February 3rd, 2017. So, what is it? Genocidal Organ, for those of you who do not know, takes place in a pseudo futuristic science fiction post 9/11 world where the country of Sarajevo is basically wiped off the map after a homemade nuclear bomb is detonated in the center of the country. This causes heightened security in developed nations, such as the United States, which basically enjoy a time of general prosperity due to these security changes. While this is happening, though, the countries that were once a threat to the United States and other developed nations start experiencing a spree of genocides, and they all are linked to one man, John Paul. So they send in an elite unit headed up by Clavis Shepard. They're basically a unit of Black Ops, I guess you could call them. They have had some sort of training to undergone that allows them to block out pain as well as trauma that would lead to post-traumatic stress disorder and the like. So, what Genocidal Organ is a philosophical look at the nature of genocide, the nature of human language, and the way it's used to and twisted throughout several key moments in human history. It is a very serious film, and there's a lot of moments where the characters are just talking about these subjects. It also deals with themes of security versus freedom, the idea of to be more secure, other nations must suffer. It's one of those films that I would say is a philosophical conversation film. It's not a narratively driven film, it's a philosophy driven film. The key points are just to continue the conversation. And though the narrative isn't bad by any definition, the chase for John Paul is quite interesting, and when they do find him, the verbal fencing matches between Clavis Shepard and of John Paul are fascinating. But narrative isn't the point of the film here. It is just a vehicle to have these conversations set up. Now, to some audience members, that's not going to work. For me, I loved it. I love films that allow me to think and allow me to continue to digest what is being said. Now, John Paul's reasoning and the way he goes about accomplishing things, his thought process is interesting, but it is flawed when you start to break it down. But I do find him as an interesting antagonist and can kind of see where he's coming from. Clavis Shepard is really not as interesting as a protagonist as he could be, but does deal with some of his own themes as he's struggling to figure out if he's really doing things that he believes is right or if it's just the conditioning talking. So, yeah, this film is really good, especially the animation quality. I really loved how everything felt and looked, and I really think it's a unique film overall. At the end of the day, Genocidal Organ's main problem probably is that the other characters aren't as interesting as our main two leads, and yeah, the narrative, when you start to look at it, is a little bit flawed. But overall, it is still a wonderful film dealing with some very tough themes. And to be honest, I can't believe this film has gone generally unnoticed by the public. I think there is a lot of themes that are still relevant in today's society, especially when we're talking about the nature of language and how it's used to control people or to manipulate people. We see that a lot in modern society. Anyway, I would recommend Genocidal Organ. And I recommend purchasing it. There is a special feature that's basically just a cast discussion of the philosophies that the film discusses. That in of itself isn't usually enough for me to recommend a buy, but to be honest with you, this film is just that good in my opinion. It is a must watch and a must own. Anyway, next week we go back to John Huston movies with Fat City. I'll see you then.